Livonia, Michigan. Maybe you're planning a visit, thinking about calling this city home, or you're simply following along here because you're bored. Whatever the reason may be, do yourself a favor and stick around to hear about the good, bad, and ugly about Livonia, Michigan and how it's changed over the years, along with reviews from real residents. Let's get to it. What's going on, everyone? Andrew McMahon here with Living in Michigan, and of course your all-time favorite Michigan realtor, helping people like you buy, sell, and invest in the great state of Michigan. So if my videos provide you some value, be sure to do your thing below so you never miss out on an upload. Kicking this off with the pros for living in Livonia, Michigan, we have number one, the location. I know this pro could be obvious just from an aerial view on the map, but this point plays a role in a con I'll mention a little later. This perfect square we call the city of Livonia is conveniently placed over I-275 and I-96, so not only are you just a few miles away from the wonderful cities of Novi, Northville, Plymouth, and Farmington, you also have an extremely convenient commute to get to the on-ramps for these expressways. You're also roughly 25 miles from downtown Ann Arbor and 20 miles from downtown Detroit, which is a huge plus, as a lot of the cities I have touched on in the past tend to have a commute to downtown Detroit nearly twice that distance. When most people plan on making the move to Southeast Michigan, unless it's for work, they do it very strategically to take advantage of an easy commute to downtown Detroit and have the luxury of heading over to Ann Arbor, not just for the University of Michigan football games, but for the award-winning healthcare system, which is a huge pro to keep in mind. Stepping over to pro number two, the schools. Livonia Central was recognized with a school safety award this year. Hayes Elementary School earned the Michigan Green School Award. They have college savings programs for students, earned the Advanced ED accreditation, which means they have brought over 100 years of experience in improving educational quality, and have a graduation rate of just over 92% across the district. There are around 24 schools from preschool to high school in Livonia, with several diverse programs catered to all students, along with a career technical center. Moving over to pro number three, we have the recreational center, easily the best one in Metro Detroit, and has truly become the face of Livonia. The Jackie Kirksey Livonia Community Rec Center has so many different offerings, from fitness and wellness classes, personal training and massage therapy, to a climbing wall with 13 climbing stations, aquatics, and leisure programs that include ballet, ballroom dancing, karate, and of course, Nerf fights. This place has something to do for all people. It's not just about lifting weights, and with this being such a huge attraction in Livonia, safety is always the number one priority. As of September 2022, they did away with the typical gym membership tag and implemented a finger scanner that converts the image into a numeric value to help fight against fraud and unwanted visitors. I'll put a link in the description to their website so you can see upcoming events and changes being made, along with everything they offer. Last but not least, we have pro number four, the city events. If there's one thing Livonia knows how to do, it's throw a party. Not only is there the luxury of attending all the events put on by the Rec Center, there's several events that happen weekly at the Greenmead Historical Park, Dog Park, senior centers, summer camps at Camp Swoosh, along with farm stands, garden parties, and seasonal walks and runs that happen throughout the year, and the biggest event that I can't forget, Livonia's birthday. Known as the Livonia Spree, it's an event that happens each year to celebrate the anniversary of the city for a whole entire week. It's full of food, entertainment, music, a gigantic family carnival, and of course, a massive fireworks show to put the ribbon on a week of fun. With that in mind, it brings us to the cons of living in Livonia, Michigan, starting off with number one, the traffic. With Livonia Spree in mind, you can guarantee the city is pretty shut down for that week in late June, so be sure to familiarize yourself with other routes in the area, because you can almost guarantee it's going to be gridlocked over there. There's already over 95,000 people that live in the city of Livonia, but tack on several thousand more from out of the area to experience this once a year event, and you got yourself a madhouse. Of course, several cities around Metro Detroit have large events that shut down their city streets, but this event is much larger than most, to say the least. Not only does the Livonia Spree bring people in from out of the area, so does the Laurel Park Place, a one-story mall off 6 Mile Road in Livonia with around 75 stores and restaurants. Granted, the traffic to this attraction isn't as bad as it used to be, as this mall has had several ups and downs over the years, and actually as recently in 2020 filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy to restructure their $1.5 $1.5 billion debt, as several stores within have closed their doors due to online competitors and lack of staff. Livonia has one of those locations right off the expressway, similar to Novi, where it's like a pass-through town, for lack of a better term, where many drivers are passing through the city to get where they're going, and oftentimes it clogs most of the roadways, especially during rush hour. Stepping over to con number 2, which has to be the biggest complaint from residents aside from traffic, the downtown area, or lack thereof. Livonia has nothing of a downtown, but they are so primarily located to be near several cities that only have a great downtown areas like Northville, but shopping opportunities at 12 Oaks Mall and Novi. When I say there's no downtown area, that in no way means the city doesn't have the amenities that every city needs and more, from restaurant offerings, entertainment, shops, etc. They have all that, but it's not close-knit in a walkable downtown setting that most people would prefer. On the plus side, the city of Livonia came out with the Livonia Vision 21 master plan last year that targets 3 areas of the town to attempt to create that city feel Livonia is so desperately missing, which will be near the Civic Center Park off of 5 Mile Road, the old Livonia Mall at 7 Mile Road, and the Plymouth Road corridor. Their vision is to combine housing, retail, restaurants, and public services such as a park or library. The biggest hurdle for the city council now is consolidating the city's zoning districts so they can make this development project easier and allow for more neighborhood hubs to be built. They want to cater these new massive development plans to the wants and needs of the residents who have been living in the city for decades. The goal is a more bikeable and walkable community, but in order to do that, they need to create these multi-use pieces of property to bring all their visions to life. So we will see how that all shakes out. It's still very early in the process, of course. I'll be sure to link their Vision 21 plan in the description so you can get an idea of everything going into this master plan. Moving on over to con number 3 is neglect. This is something that was prioritized when speaking about the Vision 21 plan because residents have continuously complained the city was just overall neglected, from uneven roads and sidewalks to homes' exterior presentation and trash. It's a recurring theme that keeps being brought up and slowly being dealt with. It's by no means an unbearable sight, but it's been brought up enough to be a noticeable thing. Of course, the city is known to have great trash and leaf pickup along with great police presence to keep the community safe, but residents would like for there to be a little more attention spent on fixing roads, sidewalks, picking up trash, and just maintaining the city to keep it more presentable. I don't think it's too much for the residents to ask, because it wasn't always in a state of neglect. Maybe their future developments have taken some more priority. Who knows? A lot of residents find themselves wondering how Livonia can be the way it is while being surrounded by a bunch of wonderful cities. So there's that sense of comparison that creates this neglected mentality. Last but not least, we have con number 4, the home prices. Talking about Livonia home prices is actually an interesting topic because when I got into this industry over 5 years ago, Livonia was the spot for affordable homes. It was the place for first-time home buyers, empty nesters looking to downsize, and just all around the place where you could get a nice home for a good price. But after the years went on, the city of Livonia slowly disappeared out of these lower budgeted buyers' home searches as the prices continued to climb drastically. Keep in mind the lower budget I'm referring to is between $120,000 and $175,000. Taking a look at this graph provided by the multiple listing service, you can see the 5-year progression of Livonia's average home prices. In 2017, the average home price was right around $179K, whereas in 2022, the average home price sits just over $270,000, which is an 8% increase year over year. But to be fair, Livonia does follow a very similar progression to the entire MLS as a whole, which is labeled in blue, as they are very much overlapping and side by side over the last 5 years. I remember homebuyers being so frustrated over the years that they couldn't afford something in Livonia because the location was so nice and close to everything compared to most cities with a lower price point like that. People caught on and realized the city offered a great luxury with its central location to everything at what was once an affordable price. That puts a bow on the pros and cons of living in Livonia, but before we part ways, I want to share some good and bad resident reviews for Livonia to give you some insider perspective about the city. Starting off with the not so good ones, this reviewer talks about how the city is overrun with big box stores and are causing congestion and how there aren't a lot of local businesses, but on the plus side, they did say they could get everything they needed between Meijer and Target. The next reviewer talks about the cleanliness and safeness of the town, but states how boring the city is and how the police force isn't the best, and how there is no downtown area and the most fun you could have is going bowling or wandering around Target. Then in all caps says Livonia is where culture goes to die. There's a few things to unpack here. The police presence has gotten better over the years. The boringness and lack of downtown is being worked on in the Vision 21 plan, and I can't quite say this is where a culture goes to die. They're of course trying to create a sense of community in the city. Maybe it has lacked over the years due to comparison to the other cities, as I mentioned earlier. Moving over to the better reviews. This reviewer says Livonia is the best suburb in Southeast Michigan and states the several offerings the city has, along with it being a safe suburb with a great police department. This review was left in 2021 while the bad ones were left in 2015, so you can see they have bettered their efforts at listening to the community. Last but not least, this next reviewer chats about their positive move from Dearborn to Livonia to get a change of scenery in the numerous surrounding cities that they've had the luxury of a short commute to, along with the many food options and overall cleanliness of the city. For those of you that live or have lived in Livonia, what are your thoughts for the people on the outside looking in? Comment your experiences below. Thank you for always taking the time to watch my videos. If they provide you value, be sure to give it a big old thumbs up, tap the subscribe button, and hit the little bell so you never miss out on an upload. I'll see you in the next one.